Alhamdulillah,
who blessed us with these clear signs.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وكرم عليه أفضل الصلوات وأزكى التسليمات.
Peace and blessings upon the best of messengers sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
والإخلاص والثبات وعلى من تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الميقات وعلى آبائه وإخوانه من الأنبياء والمرسلين.
Peace and blessings upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family, and his fellow prophets and messengers. Upon their families and their companions, and upon all the pious. We continue to reflect upon the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His teaching, His guidance, His clarifications from the tongue of His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We've already talked about the first verses of Surah Hud, His command to make tawbah and to make istighfar and to turn to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. He does not wrong anyone, however small it is, Allah will bring it on the day of judgment, and He is the one that will take people to account subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I will give everyone what they deserve. He'll give them closeness and love and all the good things subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gives it to people who do good deeds. He created us to test us who is the best in action. He said subhanahu wa ta'ala, telling His Prophet to speak to us. If you turn away, I fear you will have a torment on a terrible day. This is the third verse of Surah Hud. This expresses the mercy of the Prophet ﷺ. If you turn away, I fear you will have a terrible torment.
فيجري فيه جمع وحشر بعد النشر من القبور ويجري فيه دنو الشمس من رؤوس الناس ويحصل فيه نقلهم بشفاعة المصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى أرض الحساب بارتفاع الشمس عنه.
So Habib is mentioning the state of people on the Day of Judgment, and the Prophet ﷺ interceding for those who he's allowed to intercede for, and Allah he's mentioning the events which take place on that day. And realities will be shown on that day. And some people will be exposed, and a person will flee from their brother or from their parents or from their. Everyone will be busy with themselves on that day. And people will be taken into account for the wrongs that they did and the harm they did to others. They'll stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On that day the scales will be established. Everything will be measured and will be taken into account. Every movement, every intention, every movement you make with your hand, with your tongue, with your eyes, everything will be taken into account. Either will be on the good or the bad. on the good, on the way, the scale of the good or the scale of the bad. And then people will cross the bridge, the sirat, which passes over the hellfire. This is the day of judgment. And this is why the Prophet is saying, I was told to say by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I fear for you on that day. Allah says in other verses that there's no punishment like the punishment of Allah on that day. And Allah says also, on that day things will appear which they never expected. It's the day which a child's hair will turn white out of fear. That's how Allah describes that day. May Allah protect us on that day. Is the one who's thrown into the hellfire better? Or the one who is safe on that day? Who is better, the one who's safe or the one who's not on that day? Allah make us amongst those who are safe on that day, Ya Allah. You are the Lord of that day. Allah says, clarifying the reality of this. It is to God that you will all return. We came from Him, we return to Him. Everyone, from the first to the last, all of them will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is on Allah's command, Allah's affair. Everyone, and all that they did in this life, and all the ideas and everything, they will come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everyone will come back to me alone, Allah says. No one else. So we in this creation, we look to others and we refer to others and we seek support from others, but at the end everything will come back to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether they be man or jinn or animals, the trumpet will be blown and everything will die, and then everything will be resurrected once again. And Allah will call out on that day, to whom belongs the kingdom on that day? Where are these people that you went to? Where are these people that you look up to on that day? Everything will come back to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when they are thrown into the fire, one will curse the other. But all of them will come back to one subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, do you think you were created in vain and that you'll not return to Him? So Allah is the return. Anyone who has any intelligence will see how we've been created. We didn't create ourselves. It was not our own strength. We didn't plan it. It wasn't, or your parents didn't create you. Someone can plant a seed, but only Allah can bring forth the seed from the earth. Allah says in the Surah Al-Waqi'ah, you look at what you plant and you sow, but who is it that brings it forth? Brings forth the crops. Allah is the one who perfected creation. So Allah creates us from a seed, and then we come into they take this amazing form, all the organs and muscles and everything. That's all this from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you can see that, you can see your own creation. Do you have any doubt that you will return to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah does what He wishes. Anyone who, how can someone deny after that reality? How can they deny the resurrection, the fact that we were brought back? Allah brought us into existence in the first place and created us. Is it difficult for him then to bring us back? He is the one he will bring you back and bring you back to life just in the same way that he brought you to life in the first place. If you're in doubt about the resurrection, when my messengers come and tell you about the resurrection and you doubt it and you don't listen, we created you in the first place. We created you from earth. We created you from a seed. We brought you forth from that into an embryo, into a human being. So what's so difficult about us bringing you back once again after we created you from nothing in the first place? We created you in order to. And then we brought you out. We created you in the womb, and we brought you out as a baby, and then you grew to a child, and so on. When the child came out, did anyone else have any hand in that? Or was it all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
ثم يخرجكم طفلا ثم لتبلغوا أشدكم ومنكم من يتوفى ومنكم من يرد إلى أرض العمر لكي لا يعلم من بعد علم شيئا.
Allah says and gives another example of dry earth, of dry land. Allah brings forth. Allah sends down the water, sends down the rain, and brings life. And brings all kinds of plants and crops. This is proof of Allah and that He's reality and that He brings life to the dead. And that the hour will come. There's no doubt whatsoever in this. And Allah will bring forth people who are in their graves. And He has power over all things, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah says, see how the disbelievers wrap themselves up to hide their feelings from Him, to hide their denial. They think that Allah doesn't know what's in their hearts. They might outwardly profess Islam, but inwardly they have disbelief or hypocrisy. But nothing is concealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the one who created your heart and your chest. He knows what takes place in there. He knows the thoughts that you have in there. Even if you don't display it to anyone or anyone else, Allah knows what's in your heart and knows what's in your thoughts. If he doesn't know, who knows? He knows well the innermost secrets of the heart. Does He not know the one who created? He is the all-knowing subhanahu wa ta'ala. What hand do you have in the creation of your own soul and your own self and your heart? He created your heart. He created what's in there. He knows well the innermost secrets of the heart, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they try and hide their feelings from Him. They used to cover themselves when they went to when they wanted some privacy, and as if God couldn't see them, as if Allah couldn't see them. So some do it out of trying to conceal things from Allah, and some of them wrap themselves up out of hatred for the Prophet ﷺ. So Allah is describing these people. Allah says that, but whether they conceal themselves or not, Allah knows what their hearts contain. Whatever state you're in, Allah knows what's taking place in your heart. His knowledge has no time and no limit, subhanahu wa ta'ala.
كما هو علم الأزلي الدائم، ولكن في هذه الحالة التي تنتابك أنت وتطرأ عليك ترى
Nothing is concealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
ليس يخفى علي منها شيء فكيف ما قبلها.
He knows well the innermost secrets of the heart.
يستغشون ثيابهم يعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون إنه عليم بذات الصدور.
He knows me better than my own self. He knows better what I'm saying than I do. There's no God but Him.
بنيتي من نفسي لا إله إلا هو أعلم بحالاتي وأعلم.
He knows what's going to happen now. He knows what's going to happen in the future.
يجري علي في مستقبل عمري
SubhanAllah, whose knowledge encompasses everything. Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
سبحان الذي أحاط بكل شيء علما. ألا حين يستغشون ثيابهم.
He knows the innermost secrets of the heart. Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
إنه عليم بذات الصدور.
There is not a creature that moves on earth whose provision is not His concern. Allah takes care of the provision of every single creature on the earth. Don't be deceived by your lower selves, by your ego. And don't listen to the whisperings. Don't be concerned. Don't be deceived concerning your rizq and concerning your provision. Because Allah is saying, when I created you in this form, in this image, I created you to be in need of food and drink, and clothing and shelter and so human beings know they have these needs, and then they think, how are we going to fulfill those needs for food, for clothing, for shelter? What means are we going to use to attain these things? He says, I am the one who gives you your provision. I am the one who provides for you. So that's what Allah is saying. Don't be deceived and think that you can, in order to attain your rizq, in order to attain your provision, you're allowed to abandon your principles or to ignore the sacred law. Don't be deceived into doing that. Seek your provision from the correct place. Allah says, I'm testing you. I will give my provision to who I wish, when I wish, how I wish. When people who wish to spend from that, they can. It's their choice and they'll be rewarded. And those who are miserly, they'll be taken into account for that. So no creature on the earth, let alone the human beings, none of them go outside the willpower of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one can receive anything unless Allah decrees. No provision will come to anyone without Allah's decree, Allah's will and Allah's power subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah takes care of the provision of every single creature on the earth. He is the one who decreed this and arranged it. Animals on the land and animals in the sea, creatures in the sea. Allah takes care of every single one of them and provides for every single one of them.
قدرتي وليس لهم التحكم في ذلك وإلا لفنيت الصغار أمام أكل الكبار.
Everything's in balance.
ولكن مع تآكلها تبقى هذه
Yes, the bigger creatures eat the smaller creatures, but everything is in balance.
أي هيئة على ظهر
Who created that balance? Who created that system?
أي إرادة وقع الأمر كما تشاهدونه هكذا
And
بأعينكم.
you see it in front of you.
أتقبل عقولكم
Could that all have just been by accident?
تقبل عقولكم
Is there no order in this? Does a normal intellect not accept that? Not accept that they cannot accept that this is order. This is everything is in place. There's a balance that Allah has put in place.
أن خاتما من خواتمكم يتكون صدفة. ما تقبل عقولكم أن خشبة عودا صغيرا يرتفع من نفسه من دون رافع.
No, not even a small thing can create itself or can order itself. So how about this vast cosmos? Everything in that did that come out of nothing or come by accident? How did it come into existence? In everything there is a sign which points to the fact that He is one. So in that case, trust in me and know and be certain that I provide for every single creature. I won't forget anyone. I've already decreed that creature's rizq, that creature's provision from the time it's created to the time it dies. There's a story. Angel of death will not come to someone until they have finished what has been decreed for them, the provision which has been decreed for them. That's when the angel of death will come. When that has finished, the angel of death will come. Not a second before that, not a second after that. This is decreed and it's written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The angels do what they're commanded to do. The angels of death and other angels, they don't act of their own accord. Allah says that Allah says in another place in the Quran that the angels, they do what they're told. They're now in a state of complete obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We find that Iblis, Shaitan, finds a way to come to us through our provision, through doubting our provision, where it comes from, when is it going to come from, who's it going to come from. Shaitan finds a means of deceiving us. Every single creature on the earth and the birds in the sky. Allah uses the word dabba, which has a meaning of an animal which creeps upon the earth, but it also includes the birds in the sky. And Allah has decreed for every single one of these creatures its provision and guided that and taught it how to seek that and how to gain that provision. Who is it that chose that a diet that certain animals feed on a certain thing and others feed on something else? And they know what to eat and they know how to get it. Who chose that? Who ordered that? Who is the one that chose that? There's signs right in front of our eyes. So why worry? Why in a state of anxiety? Doubting your provision is the doubt in the provider. Doubting when your rizq, when your provision is coming from, is doubting the one who provides that rizq, the Razzaq subhanahu wa ta'ala. What has been decreed for you is already in your hands. In reality, it's already yours. And what has not been decreed for you will never come to you regardless of what you do. There's not a single creature that moves on earth whose provision is not in Allah's hands. And if we look at the creation of man from an embryo from Allah, then blowing in the soul, and the angel comes at that point and writes and records whether that person's rizq, that person's provision, and when they're going to die, and whether they're going to be felicitous or whether they're going to be wretched in the next life. Allah knows where everything lives and its final resting place. Allah knows where each animal and which creature is. He knows where the creature lives when it's on earth, and knows its final resting place. He'll know exactly what happens to that creature, how it will be consumed when it's placed in the earth. He also knows where in human terms, where a person is before they come into existence, in the loins of their father or in the womb of their mother. He knows that before it happens, before they come into this life. He places that seed in the woman's womb in a secure place, allows it to grow. He knows how that takes place. All of this is in a clear record, in a clear book. On the Lawh al-Mahfuz, the protected tablets, all in Allah's timeless, eternal knowledge. And He has absolute encompassment of all knowledge, subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is He who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. Did anyone else have any part in this? Did anyone else help Him? Did anyone else have a portion in this creation? He created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. He created days and nights and time. And His throne was over the water. One of the first things He created, subhanahu wa ta'ala, was His arsh, was His throne. Before He created the earth and the heavens. Prophet ﷺ asked the people from the Yemenis, from the tribe of the Ash'ariyun. He said, they asked him about Allah. He said, Prophet says, Allah was, and there was nothing with Him. There's nothing with Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah existed and nothing else existed. So the Prophet was reciting these verses, that every creature, Allah provides for every single creature on the earth. So he heard the Yemenis, Ash'ariyun, they heard the Prophet reciting these verses, that every single creature is provided for by Allah. So he went back to his people and said, it's okay, Allah, don't worry about your provision, don't worry about poverty, because Allah has taken care of every single creature that crawls upon the earth. So is He not going to take care of us? This man who heard the Prophet reciting this verse, that every creature is a creature in Allah's. Allah provide for every single creature.
في سبيل ربهم جل جلاله ما بيترككم فرجعت لكم وقلت لكم الغوث واصل اليكم واتيكم تبسم اسال قال ذاكم رزق رزقكموه الله جاء به اليكم من حيث يريد جل جلاله وتعالى في علاه وهكذا حتى وقع أمثال هذا في حياة الصحابة.
Many examples in the life of the companions and others witnessing Allah's generosity and Allah's provision subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet told, when the Musa was told to go to Fir'aun,
فضربها فانفلقت صخرة أخرى أصغر منها قال اضربها فضربها فانفلقت صخرة أخرى فيها دودة.
He told Musa to strike it with his staff, and the rock split, and he saw a tiny worm, and Allah said, I provide for this worm, would I not provide for you? Musa used to say, they asked him, why was it that made you seek Allah and reach this high station with Allah? He said, I was wandering through the earth, and I came to a tree, and there was and I saw a bird, but it was blind. A blind bird. I was thinking, how does this bird get its provision? How does it get its food? And then the bird fell onto the earth. And then out from it, the earth split open and some food came out. Food in containers. And this blind bird ate from the food that was presented to it. Drank from some water. Then went back up. The earth was closed up again and took that food back in, and the bird went back to its place. And he said, SubhanAllah, this is Allah provides for that tiny bird, that blind bird. He said, would not provide for me, would it not guide me? So that was a cause for him to seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. and Misr. If Imam Haddad said that if the earth called out that if the heavens called out, I will not send down any rain, and the earth said, I will not send forth any shoots, and if the whole of creation, the whole of Tareem, was in my responsibility to feed, I would not be worried, because Allah has said that every single creature on the earth is my responsibility. It's my responsibility to feed them. So we take the means. We take the means to seek our provision. And anyone leaves something for Allah, Allah will replace it with something better. If you leave something which is dubious in Allah's sight, then Allah will replace it with something better. Because the one who has taqwa of Allah, Allah will give them a way out and provide them from where they can never imagine. May Allah give us that certainty and that belief. May Allah not disgrace us on that day. May Allah rectify our state and the state of everyone in the Ummah of Sayyidina Muhammad, and give us the best of endings, and that you'll be pleased with us. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.